Just popping in right now. I am here today with Isaac Armstead, Chicago area trumpet player, educator extraordinaire. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your musical background, bro?
Yeah, man. So, you know, I would say picked up trumpet about fourth grade, but other than trumpet, just growing up, like I grew up with a big musical family that like just loved music in general. And you'll wake up on a Saturday or a Sunday morning, and my father's like blasting Curtis Mayfield, Bobby Womack, or gospel or anything, So it was always, I always grew up with a big musical family, and my mom, she's a big like Shaka Khan type, Jill Scott, Lauryn Hill, So I always had that like, sound of like, you know, instrumental music. I loved that as a kid. And um but as far as from trumpet, I picked up trumpet fifth grade, and it was just like any ordinary band program, that they'll come to your elementary school and the band director will say, okay, try the instrument. So I tried all these instruments, I picked up clarinet, so it was okay. It was kind of weird. Picked up the flute. I really wanted to play the drums. I really wanted to play the drums, number one, because I watched the movie Drumline. So, but yeah, as soon as I picked up the trumpet, I played nice, just the fattest G on top of the staff, right, bop, and it was like, okay, you're playing trumpet. No, I don't want to hear you play anything else. You're playing trumpet. And I was like, okay, it was cool,
Okay.
First note was a pretty decent note, but
Dang, man.
yeah, but yeah, so I picked it up fifth grade. So how many years was that? About 14 years, bro. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, ever since then, man, the journey has started. And then, as far as, teachers and band directors coming up, my middle school band director was a trumpet player as well. And he was he was actually the person that motivated me to be more of a lead player. His name is Brian Finn. I'm not sure if you know him or not. He's actually an NIU alumnus too. He was there back in the Ron Modell days. So
Right on.
yeah, and then you think of the Blues Brothers, the Chicago-based one. He plays the lead trumpet in that group. So
Really? That's
yeah,
really cool, dude.
yeah, he's pretty killing. I got this good chai tea I'm sipping on, man.
All right on, right on.
Yeah, but yeah, so middle school, I had he was a trumpet teacher, and then once I get to high school, both band directors are trumpet players. So it's like, okay, I'm not escaping this, Um, but I didn't really like get like really really serious with trumpet until like maybe like my sophomore maybe junior year. Junior year was like when I got like serious about trumpet. Because like I was a big like football player. I wanted to play football. I wanted to do Friday nights and all that, and I was on the wrestling team and all that going in. So I didn't really care for music. So, but I started realizing like music's something like I actually really love, and I actually want to like maybe conquer when I get older. So I started getting a little serious about it in junior year. So. And since then it's been history from there.
History, huh?
History in the making, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Every day is history tomorrow.
Yeah, there we go.
So what inspired you to start teaching?
Well, I feel like just in general, us as musicians, and if you're a musician in general, artist, or you have a special craft, right, that everyone doesn't do. I feel like you're kind of forced to be a teacher. Even if you're not teaching at a school and you just play the trumpet, you're gonna be teaching, regardless. So it kind of comes with the hat you wear as a musician, and and I think like some people that just say they want to play, you're not gonna just play. You're gonna be you're gonna be an educator as well, and in this musical world, it's important to wear a lot of different hats and like definitely wear it like well. So, and you know, my sign is a Gemini actually, so I feel like you know I could just wear any hat and have a conversation and do any type of job, and you know, right away. But what inspired me being like a teacher the whole time is my grandmother. She was a teacher, and I always wanted to. I really, really saw the impact she did with like you know kids in the city of Chicago and how much she was like her legacy really lived on. And you know, ever since then, I was like, okay, you know, might as well go to school and you know try to be a musician. You're gonna teach somehow, and honestly, teaching right now has just been paying the bills. So, and what I really, really love about it is just to see the development and see the passion in students and
Yeah.
I see a lot of that in me too. Like, you know, just like just roller coaster of being a musician. You're always learning. So
Yeah, never stops, never stops. You read interviews with 90-year-old musicians. They still say they're learning every day.
speaking of 90-year-old musicians, like I did a lot of work, you know, my high school band director, she played in Naperville Municipal Band in the suburbs. And, you know, that band been around for years, like years. And there's some trumpet players in that section that's 80, 89, 90 years old. Like, you know, one of them
still,
was,
still playing, still playing.
man, still playing the cornet, playing the snot out of the cornet, man. Like,
Hmm.
you know, it's spotless. And honestly, you know, I was glad I had a band director that got me plugged into that group because like that really really got me learning on reading and playing the cornet in general because cornet playing is definitely a lot different
Oh, definitely.
than trumpet playing for sure. And the love I have for cornet, I actually have a huge love for cornet. Like, I mean, I'm not just a you know big band trumpet player. I love British brass bands and playing, and that's doing that type of stuff and playing that type of music, it's like it's heaven to me, you know. So, and to be able to be versatile with my music is a really strong gift to have.
Yeah, I didn't feel that way for a long time, but in the past few years, I really have started feeling that way. Just all music is beautiful, man. You just got to find the right pieces that speak to you.
Yeah, man, and then yeah, and like we're really lucky that you know we're trumpet players too, because you know trumpet like a lot of instruments can't do all the stuff, you know, like
Yeah.
you know. So like for example, like you know yesterday I did you know combo jazz. Thursday, I have a rehearsal with a R&B rap group that I've been playing behind, and Saturday is the performance. So, you
Ooh.
know, it's just like wearing different hats all the time. So,
Yeah, dude, exactly. That's like me. I play in a rock band.
yeah,
I
man.
also do the jazz thing,
You
but then
play that,
I'm also going back and learning all my classical repertoire for fun because I love it.
yo, let me tell you, whoever watches and tell you about Nate Monte. He'll play the snot out. He might play the snot out of Fuzz Love, but he'll play some damn blues for you that'll get you.
Something like that.
I'm telling you, like playing a big band with you, man. I learned a lot from you. You know, and we learned a lot from each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you got that like that St. Louis South, like Southern Illinois, you know, sound. Like you know, it hits differently. I'm telling you. So
Dang, man. Thanks, Isaac. I appreciate the kind words, bro.
yeah,
Oh, well, going back to the teaching, what do you
yeah,
think your favorite part of teaching is? Like, what really makes it totally worth it?
sure. The music making, like number one, just the music making. You know, you go in with a mindset of you know producing music, either with a you know beginning fifth grade student to an adult. You know, and you want to figure out and just to see that progress and to actually be the reason of that progress is really really special. It makes me feel like you know it just hits a very differently, and it's very personal to me. Um, and then when it comes, just and then with just the teaching in general, like like I said before, like everyone's learning, and I feel like if I can express my love for music to another person, it's really special to me. So I can just go on and on about that.
Yeah, man. No, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. For
Yeah,
real.
on and on about music in general. So
Speaking of, this is a trumpet talk. It wouldn't be a trumpet talk without talking about what kind of gear you playing on, man.
gear, I'm not the biggest gearhead. There's some not to diss any trumpet players that's like super gearheads, but I'm not the biggest gearhead, man. Like, I play on a box strat. My main B flat trumpet is a box strat. It's a limited edition Windy City version. Really nice sound, really good for lead, and I am a big Bach fan. When it comes to mouthpieces, I play on a 1.5 C, which I actually have right here. So I'm always buzzing. Got a 1.5 on a 1.5 C. It's a regular, standard Vincent Bach mouthpiece, but it's a gold plated. I'm a gold plated because I like the soft feel of it, and the tone of it's differently. So especially if you're like doing a gig outside and it gets a little cold, like these come in handy. When it comes to lead playing, when it comes to lead mouthpieces, I play on a Marsikowitz 11.5. And honestly, that's been like the mouthpiece I've been playing on since I like started playing any high notes. That's actually the mouthpiece my band director Brian Finn introduced me to Marsikowitz. He actually had an old Marsikowitz that when he was giving me lessons, I was like, I really want to know how to play, those high notes, those lead notes, that you play. And he's like, here, try this mouthpiece out. And ever since then, like I've been a fan of the Marsikowitz brand. But the size that I'm using is 11.5. So 11.5.
Okay.
What else? What else is part of gear? Like mutes and stuff? What else do you want to know?
Yeah, I mean, you can talk about what kind of music you're using too.
When it comes to harmony mutes, I'm a big fan of the Joe Rell. I like that sound. It gets a good like warm, milky tone.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So got a cool little torpedo bag, and let me tell you about the torpedo bag. Actually, like man, I hate traveling with the torpedo bag to the airports because you're wearing it. It's a torpedo bag. It looks weird, anyways. So I'm always getting checked because the people think it's like a bomb or something. I guess because I always have it for my carry-on. You get checked at the security, then you get checked in the plane. It's always weird with the torpedo bags, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel that, man. I've always liked just like the regular old hard cases, man. I don't like the soft ones. I'm paranoid though when it comes to my baby.
And I also have two other instruments. I have a cornet, another Bach instrumentation. I have a piccolo trumpet, and I have a flugelhorn. So, I'm actually, I played a lot of C trumpet back in college, and I just been really wanting to get back into it. I just haven't bought a C trumpet yet.
Yeah, well, it's a little tough too because you don't want to cheap out. You want a quality instrument.
Yeah, that's right. That's important. I bought a piccolo trumpet like a year and a half ago. Yeah, and you can't be cheap with those types of instruments. Well, not just necessarily cheap with it, but like quality of it is important.
You can't sacrifice it.
Yeah, I'm actually a big fan of the Yamaha C trumpets. Some of my, I know Chris Martin, principal trumpet on NYO, plays on a Yamaha, and that was actually speaking of Chris Martin. Like I just reflect from my NIU days. Studying with Dr. Ponzo. having the opportunity to take master classes with people like Chris Martin and you know, we had like Tiny Darby there, you know, a bunch of different trumpet players that came in. Like, you know, I just learned so much from them. And one thing about Dr. Ponzo, he was really big with cornet style playing and Bach playing, and he actually gave me a really really great approach on, you know, how to um, set your aperture up, you know, the hole that we use for playing, um, and how it should be different when you play the cornet and the trumpet to get those notes to speak. You know, your hole needs to be a little bit more open playing cornet. So, yeah. And then one thing I don't think you know about me, but when I was in high school, you know, I was a pretty strong high school player. You know, I made all state in my district and all that. But once I got to college, you know, speaking of Dr. Ponzo, he completely switched up my armature. When I was in high school, I was playing like this, you know, with my lip on the bottom, with my lip.
Okay, I see.
And teaching beginners too, and then seeing younger students, I actually see that a lot. And necessarily, like, it's not a. And one thing Ponzo taught me was, you know, it's not a bad thing. You know, I got a good sound. I'm getting a double high C, you know, playing Danny Boy as a high school student out of it. You know, I got into a college, you know, playing with that armature. But once I got to college, Ponzo was like, okay, stop playing like that. Don't play. You gotta play, tuck your lip in, and, you know, play like this. And he gave me this, you know, he gave me all different types of approaches and how to set it up and different techniques and buzzing and all that. And really, my first semester in college was just super stressful, and I almost actually gave up playing because I didn't sound. But that was more of my insecurity of not having the discipline to actually work up to the actual armature setup. One thing about the armature I did have in high school, I mean, it was cool at the moment, but at the long run, it's not going to be good for you. You know, if you want to play,
No, nope.
yeah, play professionally your whole life, you have to have, you know, a safe setup, and it's important that you're always. Being safe when it comes to playing, and especially when it comes to lead playing too.
You can really get hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one thing about I had two band directors in high school. My other band director was actually more of the jazz lead trumpet playing type guy. His name was Bob Hanhoff, and one thing about him is actually he plays with the scrap on his neck. He can't play without literally choking himself. Back in college, he had got a hernia in his neck from you know, not using enough air and using a crappy setup, and, you know, he got himself injured. And he was off his horn and hospitalized. He took like a year off his horn. He had to really try to get back. But he's a phenomenal player, and I give him a lot of props for, you know, what he has to go through. But, you know, he still has to wear that off for the rest of his life when he plays trumpet. But he's a great player. You know, it takes a lot of discipline, a lot of passion to recover from that. But that's one thing about lead playing. You definitely got to be safe, you know, with your air and all that.
Yeah, and I love that you keep saying the word discipline, because I think that's one of the most important things, man.
Yeah, that's what makes us so smart. Us musicians, man, we're the smartest people in the world. We're just, you know, we don't have the actual testing on it, but I think so. That's my personal.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here.
Yeah, you know, discipline takes all when it comes to, you know, practicing everything, teaching, marketing yourself, everything, all the hats. You got to wear all the hats.
Absolutely, absolutely. And speaking of discipline and practice, what's your current approach to practicing right now? You must be pretty focused, huh?
Well, first approach is getting a buzz. You know, getting a buzz. You got to get a buzz. You know, if you don't have a buzz, you can't really play. Well, approach for practicing to me is I do like to like just take like just 30 seconds before I even pick up a note. Is just breathe. You know, breathe in my through my nose, out through my mouth, and just like close my eyes and meditate for a little bit. You know, just to feel my airflow. Um, and just try to hear myself breathe. And actually focus on that because believe it or not, we don't take enough time to do that.
Oh, very true. Very true.
We're breathing all day long. We're both breathing right now, but
We're just not conscious of it. It's all just to survive, not to just optimally play music.
right, yeah. And then the approach to trumpet, it's like it's all breathing. That's how you get your sound out. You're breathing. Your air, your approach to it. But practice tips would something that I do every day. Other than that, getting a buzz of breathing, definitely some long tones. Just I like to play right in the staff, a G in the staff, and playing as quiet as you can, and but filling up your breath, taking a nice breath, filling up yourself, but playing as soft as you can, and then increasingly getting louder and get softer, using all that air that you have on you. Yeah, long tones. What else? One thing about what I really like to do, I always really like to have a mirror next to me when I practice. Or like, either have my camera on my phone or something just to like see myself, to see how I look, to see how my setup is. And, I definitely learned that from Dr. Ponzo when I was switching my armature up, because it was always like, okay, I got this locked in, but is your corners locked,
Mm-hmm.
That's really important too, looking at your corners. One thing about Wynn Marsalis, when I hear his playing, before he even put his horn to his face, he always has this locked in already. If you notice,
I've noticed that.
yeah. If anyone haven't noticed, definitely check it out. Look at a video on YouTube. Before he picks it up, he has this locked in already, and that definitely really, really, really works. It definitely keeps your tone more locked in, and have a more of a steady tone and a steady sound. But yeah, I do a lot of like urban stuff. I'm a big urban fan.
Same.
Big studies, all the Clark studies, Charlier, all the standard stuff, Yeah, practice. You got to shed. You got to.
Gotta do it somehow, some way. That goes back to the discipline, man.
Gotta shed, like, gotta shed. Like taking a day off, even taking a day off of like buzzing or even playing at all. Like you feel so guilty. Even
Your face.
right. It might be some days you might be too busy. You may be driving around, just have a mouthpiece on. I'm always It's not a day I don't put my lips on a mouthpiece at least.
Oh, exactly, man.
Yeah.
Well, you have some new music coming out pretty soon, huh? You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, during this quarantine, I'm getting more into the writing approach. It's something new to me, and I'm really, really trying to identify my personal sound and the sounds that I hear in my head. I have a scheduled recording session in March, so hopefully we can have it out by the middle of this year, this summer, or maybe by the end. It's always been kind of weird, just getting studio time and just getting musicians together in general throughout this pandemic. But yeah, definitely I've definitely written some music that I definitely want to experiment, and hopefully we can get those recorded. So
what kind of music is it?
Yeah, it's contemporary jazz. And I also have I have another song. I have another song called "Mama's Boy," but it's more of a gospel feel.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it's good contemporary jazz. Try it out.
Yeah, I would love to hear some of that sometime. Maybe if you feel generous enough to email me a sneak peek.
Oh yeah, got you.
Right on, man.
Yeah,
Well, I think I might go ahead and wrap this up here, but how can people get a hold of you for lessons, freelance trumpet services, or to hire your band?
sure. Yeah. Follow me on Instagram for sure. Um, going into the messages, Isaac underscore double underscore music 96. Um, you can also email me at isaacmusic96@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook. Um, I'm on Twitter as well. So, um, but yeah, hopefully I'll actually be launching like a website very soon as well. So,
Very cool. Very cool.
yeah. But with the school I'm teaching at, um, I actually have a decent amount of students that is a lot of different ages. I'm actually teaching a 43-year-old student as well from a 8-year-old student. It's kind of funny because like one time I had him back to back. I was working with the 43-year-old, and then I was working with the 8-year-old. It's just like switching up mentalities are so different. But
Oh yeah, way different approach, I'm sure.
yeah, but both students are just phenomenal. My older student, he's actually is a musician. He's a piano player, fantastic piano player. He just wants to pick up horn, and it's never too late to pick up a horn. So I
I tell
reckon
people that all the time.
for all human beings. but but yeah, definitely like and then just when it comes to like comes to anything when it comes to playing and lessons, I'm always open to learn from you because everyone has something to show, everyone has something to give as well. So
Very true. Very true. Well, hey Isaac, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. We've got to do some talking real soon. We got some catching up to do, bro.
man, we definitely do, man. We gotta like make a pandemic big band or something.
Yeah, bring back the cats. Frank on you.
Hey, you didn't host us all, so that's the section, y'all.
Oh
Just
yeah. Oh yeah.
just
That's the cats right there.
imagine it. Those cats in the section. Oh, it's bad. Yeah, we had a lot of fun too. It was just a lot of fun, like so much fun. I miss that so much, and we were so gifted and blessed to be under the great Reggie Thomas. Like, man, I'm so honored to be under to have the chance to study with him and play in his big band. It's a lot of his stuff. I still a lot of his approach to big band when I'm teaching big band. Because, like, if you got some Reggie Thomas, you're going to have a good big band, regardless.
That's true. He's the director, man.
Yeah. But, yeah, it was thanks for the interview, man. It was really, really nice to catch up with you.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Yeah,
Anytime.
we got to definitely play some trumpet together for sure.
Definitely.
I've been seeing some of your classical stuff. I've been really, really, really enjoying that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that because I really have been working on it a lot.
Yeah, you're sounding good, man. You're sounding great.
Right on. Well, hey, Isaac, man, you have a nice night.
You too, brother. Thank you. Have a good